Ju. Do you know, recently, there's a new generation that's been labelled the loneliest generation. Guess which generation?
Zia.
Yes. You're listening to
Jom Sembang, Malaysia.
I think a bit sad when I heard that, they're the loneliest. But we're talking about they are exposed or born in the generation where technology make it easier to be connected to someone.
Right? They're the most connected generation ever.
Correct. And yet they are the loneliest generation ever. The whole oxymoron thing is just...
such a big word.
Yeah. And at first I thought, okay, how I watch a lot of reels and stuff, and then I try to pick up stuff that I thought is quite interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
And I think, this is not big enough for me to want to talk about.
Uh-huh.
But then after that, the World Health Organization, who recently listed loneliness as the global public health concern.
Wow.
So I think it is something that everyone encounters lah. So it's something that I would like us to chat about. So to maybe just analyze loneliness in our life, if ever, that you have.
Okay.
So we just start with a series of simple questions.
Okay.
Simple but not simple, like, Gina,
Alright.
right? Okay. So let's pinpoint. When you were growing up, right? Were you always with a group of friends, or were you a solo ranger in school?
I always had a group of 2. It was always a threesome.
Okay.
And I've shifted schools quite a lot, right? So looking back, my standard 1 to 3 class, there was actually 2 names. 2 names I can remember. Only 2 names of my classmates, all right? And then upper primary to lower secondary, same. I had 2 close friends, and we've met up before.
Okay.
And then in upper secondary, same.
But were you like, during the school time, right, when you say your friends, right? Were you like the clique one? Like
Must
the
be like I only had 3 friends, ma.
Okay, so it's like a group lah.
2 friends, including me.
So it's like a group lah. So it's like a whole classroom, and then there's these 3 person lah.
That's a good question. I don't think we kind of like purposely left people out. Like, you cannot join me. But it's like the person sitting next to you and behind like a threesome. I don't know, why is it always 3 with me? 3
I don't
plus
know.
me, including me.
I don't know. Because for me, right, when I grew up, right, around me, all my friends have groups. Like clique lah.
And was it like small?
Like
Do you
the
remember?
smart group, the not so smart. Mine happened to be like this lah, okay? The smart group, the not so smart group, the noisy group, the quiet group, and then... but I was the flirting butterfly that just go to each group and don't fit anywhere. You know, like if the group has a party, I might or might not get invited because I'm not part of the group, but they know me. Okay,
so you didn't belong to a threesome or a fivesome?
No.
Okay.
But I was like just general friends with everyone.
What about the person sitting next to you? Did you have a next door partner?
So I had someone sitting on my right, and then I have 2 girls in front of me. The 3 of them were friends. I won't consider myself clique because they were talk non-stop. And then I would just say, my next door classmate lah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't like a clique kind of feel lah.
Now I'm wondering the 3rd person. We have 3, and then what happened to the 4th person? Could have been you.
So like for example, like even between classes.
Yeah.
So I will go to like the A1 class or the science smart fella. So when I go to school in the morning, normally what do you do when you reach school?
I prefect, so straight away I have to go and
like
do duty.
When I go to school, right, I will see, okay, this gang is here, the maths gang, and then this art gang, and then even the prefect, some on duty, off duty, there will be like the gang, you can see them.
Okay.
And I will just, on that day, whatever mood I feel like it, I will just go in there, morning, and then I just stand in people's gang. Like really solo kind of thing.
Okay, and were you comfortable doing it, or did you feel like, where do I have to go today? Like, you know what I mean? Like, which house shall I visit today? Like, in a sense lah.
I didn't think much about that lah.
So it's a normal thing lah.
It's a normal thing.
Okay.
So for example, if like the group has 5 people, then I just walk to the next smaller group. Like not too busy or noisy kind of thing. But it wasn't like a stressful thing, and I don't mind standing on my own.
Okay. And when you went to visit a group, I'm going to call it visit because
yeah, I understand what you mean.
They were quite welcoming lah.
Generally normal lah.
They're not like, what you doing here? Like, who invited you? No lah.
Yeah, because they each have a certain, I don't know, they didn't make me feel that way lah.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes even if I arrive early and then on my own, then I just lap up first, right? Then they come, then their next member come. But it becomes just that member, just that group member that came. The other group will have.
Right. They will congregate somewhere else.
Yeah, so
some other
I've been
table.
quite solo since school days lah. Yeah.
Maybe that's not considered really solo though. Maybe that's just
But it feels
embracing.
solo.
Okay.
It feels solo in the sense that you want to do group assignment, they're all group up. happy.
You always
solo
have to
lah.
choose which one you want to join.
Or you have to hope that one of them adopt you.
Okay.
Like solo. So it lasted all the way until college.
Okay.
College got group assignment. I don't
no.
like group assignments, I told you.
Okay.
I will always ask permission for going single solo. And then they are not allowed.
Okay.
So I know that I was a solo ranger right up until college days. Because of the group assignments. And I'm still in a situation where, group assignment, which group not enough people want? Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Or if worst come to worst, really cannot, the next solo person, two of us one group, solo plus solo.
Okay.
Yeah, so my memory of growing up, whether I'm a group person, groupie or solo,
Right.
was pretty much solo.
Okay.
Yeah. So yours is pretty much groupie lah.
Small group lah.
Okay, so this question is a bit heavy. What was the first memory of intense loneliness in your life?
Oh my gosh. I can pinpoint
Okay.
two distinct ones. In my younger adulthood, I used to travel a lot for work.
Okay.
And when you see a really beautiful, and I'll go alone because I travel alone for like,
Work
I
mah.
represent my country alone, and then I
Correct.
would meet other people there, right? But because I like to add on a certain overnight before I hit, that's why I'll be alone for that day, which was, I loved it. I loved that I could just get on my 2 feet,
Okay.
book into wherever I wanted to stay and go wherever I wanted to. I love that. But when you see a very, very nice thing, like there was one day I went to May Day in Vienna. They had this thing, free park. And I suddenly felt like, why am I enjoying this alone? Like, there's nobody to eat we go and buy popcorn together or eat the sausage together. It's like, oh, this is so good, but nobody to know that it's so good with me. I only know myself. So that was one. The other one was New Year's Eve.
Okay.
So I think because I was always, New Year's Eve was always church lah, right? We have a New Year's Eve, what do you call it, vigil or countdown. So you're always in this community. And then when I started doing backing vocals, usually New Year's Eve parties got either one main artist or a few, right?
Okay.
And they're kind of your colleagues, but they're not like your best friends. So when everybody goes, Happy New Year on the stroke of midnight, I'm like, why am I? Not that I'm working, I'm happy to be working because it's when you get paid the most, right? For New Year's Eve. But there's that feeling of being alone there. Like, who do I want to hug? I can Happy New Year you, but I might not give you a hug kind of thing.
Understand.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more like a work, official, formal kind of feeling lah.
Kinda lah. And if I had a life partner, chances are the person might be there.
I mean, even if the person's not there,
With
you'll
the
be
event.
texting.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like,
I guess.
waiting for the midnight so that I can text the person or something like that.
I guess. Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
So for me, right, because I've been solo for a long time, I don't think I've experienced loneliness.
Okay.
Despite the many decades of solo all the way to college. And then even at the workplace, I'm not sure if I mentioned in the previous episode, I'm also quite a solo ranger. I can go lunch on my own. Especially like if in a small company, we go lunch together, fine.
Yeah.
But when I went to work in the bank where there's 100 people in the building and everything, I still went lunch alone.
Okay.
So I had no problem being alone. Being alone is not a problem. Being casted out is also not a problem. Like, okay lah, the managers don't like you, then don't eat with you or what. Like, you can cast me out, I just do my work and I just solo eating and I'm fine.
Yeah.
So for me, loneliness was something that, a word, but it's not applicable for me for the longest time. And then recently when the pandemic came, and then, the news says, pandemic, people get lonely, yada. Pandemic, I got busy, okay?
Yeah.
Right? So busy that when the pandemic stint is over, I got tired and I was lazy to reach out to people.
Okay.
And then when I stopped reaching out to people, I also didn't feel lonely. It's only when one day I just sit down there and I'm tired and I say, okay, I want to call someone out for a drink. And then my brain runs through everybody's faces. There wasn't a single one that I wanted to call out. And then I realized, something is wrong. For the first time, like when you have something to celebrate or cry about or be angry about and whatever not, and there's no person you can call,
right?
I think that was when I felt lonely. Very intense. Like, since when am I lonely? I remember asking myself at that moment of time, since when am I lonely? I've always been solo. I'm always doing things alone. But why is it this one time that I feel like, I remember that time, it was nighttime, I wanted to go out for a drink or grab a beer.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be alone.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find that someone. Or rather, there's people I can call, but it wasn't the people that I want to be with.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find someone that I want to be with. And that was when I felt like, damn lonely, man.
Wow.
Like really like intense kind of a loneliness. And for me, right, I don't mind being alone. I just that new loneliness thing is suddenly an emotion.
Okay.
Because I've never associated it to an emotion as it being an emotion.
Okay, so I got 2 questions within your big questions.
Okay.
Number 1, like you just associated that to emotion, but earlier you used the word cast out, cast away. If the
Okay.
boss wants you to cast.
No lah, like the whole department have lunch and then they just, I don't have lunch with Gina, I'm okay.
Yeah, but the fact that you recognize that people didn't want to have lunch with you, or use the word cast out, cast
understand.
away, there was no emotion attached to that?
No lor.
Sure not?
Because I felt that when I was working in the bank, it was nice having some me time. The banking environment is very political when you're working, especially in the HQ. And then everyone who asks you out for lunch, right, might have an ulterior motive. What I mean by that is, for example, I went out lunch with the credit card team.
Yeah.
And I come back.
Okay.
Then my manager asked, "You very close with them, huh?" Then I was like, just lunch lah. I mean, I'm sitting with you all every day.
Yeah.
Once a week, I join them. Cannot lah. How come they're friends with you, they're not friends with me? Blah, 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 blah. So at the end of the day, right, if a certain group don't ask me for lunch, I'm fine because I'm avoiding a whole bunch of other questions from my manager. Say, the HOD, head of department, ask you out for lunch. Anything.
Right.
Cannot. Go friends, go lunch. Cannot. You know, so I was quite okay solo or not. Because sometimes solo better than a bunch of people. Then people will start to think, you're close to so and so, got what politic? Are they trying to get you to friend them or favoritism in the workspace? Or you friend with them so they sign the paper better, is it? They friend with you to sign. You know, so there was all this. So I didn't feel lonely. I was like, Kasa good lah, I sit down, I have my own lunch alone. Like I'm okay with being alone. Yeah.
No, I'm asking because generally if I don't get asked out for lunch, I don't think about it at all. It's like oh, they're going out but invite me. If I have that feeling or thought that they already didn't invite me, there would be some perhaps emotion attached to it because I realized it.
I was quite happy not to be invited.
Okay. All right.
Because of the working environment lah. Yeah.
Okay.
But the word casted is because of how political is it. That when there was someone don't invite you, other people think, you and the person fight. But actually you are just...
Okay.
You know, yeah.
Okay, cool. So my second question is, when you said that, I don't have anyone to ask out to be in this moment with me, was it somebody to experience that emotion with you? Wait, did I just repeat the same thing in the question? As in, you want to celebrate something, therefore you want to celebrate it with somebody, or you're feeling sad about something and therefore you want somebody to be in that space with you, rather than just, I'm going out to a drink and... So
probably
it's
the
related
first
to that
one.
emotion, right?
So it's not related to, for example, it's not like I'm happy or I'm sad. It's the fact that I want to have a friend at that moment in time and I don't have it.
Okay.
So whether it's like, hey, I'm celebrating a promotion, or hey, my pet just died. The fact that I cannot call someone was the new emotion of loneliness. It wasn't the...
Understand, but because there was something that you were feeling that warranted to feel it with somebody lah, and there was no somebody in that sense.
It doesn't even have to be feeling it with somebody.
Oh, okay.
For example, like I really had a long day where I just want to drink beer. Chill beer, right? I just want to find someone that I'm comfortable with that won't annoy me.
Okay,
and I couldn't find it.
Ah.
That's when I suddenly realized, quite lonely in my life. I mean,
okay.
It just shows that I don't have someone that can take me for the good and bad and want to ask me 101 questions, you know? You're comfortable person.
Okay.
That was when I realized, suddenly I feel the weight of loneliness going. Yeah. So yeah, that was my first awareness of the loneliness in my life.
Okay.
And next question would be, how do you deal with it? Silence. I think we should go for a break while we process this.
Today's episode is brought to you by Joy Luck Penang. Joy Luck, also known as Joy 6, is a very unique place to hang out. They welcome you to bring your favorite food and order beverages from them, or simply enjoy their cafe menu, especially the signature nasi ulam. So that way, best thing about this place is you can bring your pets to chill out with you. So if you're in Penang, remember to check out Joy Luck in Tanjung Bunga.
So right, when I went through that critical moment, the first intense moment or memory of that loneliness, right? I just realized during the pandemic, I really cut off a lot of people. But I also asked myself whether the people that I cut off, if I didn't cut off, would I be feeling that loneliness?
Oh, whether actually they would be the person that would actually be there.
Even if I didn't cut off, would I be wanting to call them? Was the thing. Yeah. So I think that moment really triggered a lot of self-reflection on my end, on the kind of relationships I have in life. How bad am I with my connection with people that there's not a single one that I could call just to chill and have beer without feeling uncomfortable, or without feeling being judged, or without going like, "Hi, why you drink beer again?" Like someone who would just come out and just be there and be a friend and just, okay lah, just drink beer lah. You want to laugh, laugh, and cry. That kind of thing. So it made me reflect on all the friendships and relationships I have and what was missing and how I can further improve.
Okay.
So yeah, there's still an ongoing process for me lah. But of course, having said that, there are friends who you have boundaries lah. This one sorry, I don't drink one. You want to drink beer? Like you can call the person come out, but the person just cannot come out lah.
Like me.
So that also adds to a certain loneliness. Why is it that you have friends that you're comfortable with, they cannot come out, you don't have another backup one meh? Your life's so miserable one. Like, you know? So I asked myself those questions when I was experiencing that one encounter.
Okay.
So when you're so grouping in your life so far, is there any moment in life, besides that one moment that you said you felt lonely, right?
Yeah.
That's not during travel, or in your daily life that you felt loneliness?
I think I quite functional one. Very logical one.
Now it makes it sound like I'm not logical.
No lah, I mean, like there's a reason why, not that you don't have a reason why, but the other time when I felt like, why am I doing this alone? Was when I was probably starting out my music career and I didn't have a manager.
Okay.
So in the earlier days, I felt lonely in the sense like, why don't I or can I not find a manager that will help me on this journey, that will bring me further on this journey, or to do the things I want to do but I don't know how to do, you know? But at the same time, it's a little bit like your house hunting, or rather my house hunting. In a sense of, do I really want to like go and seek them out, or like do I go and look and knock on people's door and say like, hey, will you manage me? Because I also know that finding a manager is almost like a life partner lah, right? If you get the wrong one, it could really ruin you.
Correct.
And the type of manager that I was looking for, I think, quite hard to find lah. And the people that I was kind of looked up to at that point, don't know, just felt like it was just too outside of my reach lah. So as a result, I think I just kind of managed on my own. So people came along the way, a PA lah. PA kind of thing, intern kind of thing, friends who said, I'll do this for you kind of thing, which we tried, you know, it would last for a few months, but it wasn't still that person that would chart the path for me. So in that sense, it did feel like quite a lonely journey lah, in a sense. I wouldn't say that as a person I was lonely, but in the journey it felt kind of lonesome.
Understand.
Like I'm doing this on my own, I'm walking this path on my own. Yeah. So when you ask, what do I do about it? Was that the next question?
Yeah, what do you do about it? I mean, how do you deal with it?
So at that time, okay, so coming back to the first one when I said the New Year's Eve one, or the traveling, right? The first thing that came to mind was I need to find a life partner. I don't know why. It's almost like, if I had a boyfriend,
I think this
wouldn't have happened.
Quite common.
Right?
Like a lot of people, especially the younger ones,
yeah,
they get into a relationship because they didn't want to feel lonely. Regardless whether the relationship or the person is a match. So it's better to have someone than no one.
Okay. So, I mean, again, it comes back to, it's okay lah. Sometimes actually if you decide on something, which is connected to another episode, right? It's okay to make a decision, whether it's a life partner best friend, you're not really making a decision. I think you, yes, but generally it's not like you make a decision to be best friends with somebody. And it might not be the absolute, ideal, perfect one, but you grow in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was the first thing lah. Like, oh, this is the thing. But eventually, I think friendship also plays that role, right? Like you said just now, it's somebody that you can text to share that feeling or that emotion or that thought or to bounce just
I think
random
that is
things
a
lah.
very good evaluation.
Wah.
If you don't know whether you are lonely or not lah, just remember like, okay, your happiest moment, who's the first person you text? If you have someone, then you are not all that lonely lah. If you don't have someone, then I think it's quite a red flag lah. Something to look into. Because we are not built to be solo people. What I mean by that, right? This person doesn't even have to be your intense best friend, you know.
Correct.
It could be like, you know, when you're young, and then let's say I play a game or I found something, and then the first person I want to talk to is my online game buddy in UK.
Okay,
I mean, come on, we are not even friends for a while, but it's like, hey, I got my school result. I want to log on online, not even to play the game, log into the online game world, just to say, hey, I got score all A's, yay, okay, go now, bye.
Right.
And
you just tell somebody something that express.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The first person you're taught to share good and bad news, just having that person, regardless of who she is, mother, father, sister, or whoever, gives you a good evaluation whether you feel lonely or not inside.
I was thinking, as you were sharing that just now, I was thinking there are some things that you might share with, or you might have everything that you might share with a certain person.
Correct.
But not everything.
Yeah.
Right.
But as long as you have a person to share what,
I suppose
at certain point lah.
Because like different lah. It's like, oh, this particular thing is this other friend. This particular thing is the other friend. Because they will get it.
Correct. As long as every particular thing
there is somebody.
Then you know that you are pretty much covered.
Okay
like you can't be lonely if every aspect of your life you have someone that you are eager to talk to. Ma. You're only lonely like if there's one aspect of your life go like, this one
Wow.
think the first person also nobody tell. Then you'll be like, something is, for me lah, that would be a red flag to like, okay, let me go and look upon my life. So my red flag that trigger was that moment when I wanted to go for a cold beer after a whole week long, and I went, oh, this one cannot call one, don't come out one. This one, if I call, more stress to me than celebration. This one, then I just realized, wow, I really missing one aspect of my life that is not covered.
So how can find? Is it easy to find?
I don't know. But I find that the last year or so, you know how intense I'm with friendship? And I'm quite intentional about it, right?
Yeah.
But lately I've been going as and when, impromptu as I go lah. So I realized those people that stay around me can impromptu like me. So I'll be driving, let's say coming back from KL. I have half an hour drive. Let's just random call. Hey, free chat, chat. Okay, chat. So I've been doing a lot more that than let's talk at 4 p.m.
Yeah, I don't work already.
Yeah. So, and I realized with that person, it's intentional and yet not quite. Because impromptu but it's working out.
Yeah.
It's working out.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things I do. So when I feel like I'm driving and I say I want to call a friend to talk, I don't think too much. Right. Now what time? Maybe she's not walking. Maybe she's jogging in the park. Why I call her now? No, I just call and I'm ready to take sorry, I'm cooking, bye.
Yeah.
I'm ready to do it. And I find that it's really less stress on both parties.
But if you have to think so hard, then can't be that good a friend.
That's why I say last time I would think a few times. Because my friends would say, why you call me at this weird hour? Okay. But now I have friends that we have a common ground of saying, if you can't, just say can't.
Okay.
No obligation. So I might be calling, let's say, my friend, and then she say, hey, can I talk to you? I'm walking to the lift now. Okay, bye. There's no hard feelings.
Yeah.
Or when she call me and I'm free, I talk. If I'm not free, I say, hey, can I talk to you now? I'm going to the meeting, bye. She won't after that get upset and don't talk to me. It's acceptable. Yeah. And I think that was really it helped me to overcome a lot of my loneliness. You know, or setting boundaries for friendships help with a lot of loneliness. So for example, like just telling you that it's okay one, I ask you to come out, you cannot come out. Just tell me you cannot come out. Better than I feel that I cannot call you to even try.
Yeah, because then I'll feel bad about it. It's like vicious cycle.
Okay, I don't bother. Then there will become a loneliness there because there's no one to call her down. But actually, I have someone, but the person cannot come out. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting how a lot of loneliness has to do with, of course, human relation.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying that a good way to evaluate whether you're lonely or not is really to just ask yourself, who's the first person you call?
Then if you're not the calling type, how?
Or text. Or the first person that you want to share with
Alright.
your good and bad. You should at least have one. Otherwise, it's really time to reevaluate the deepness of your loneliness. But yeah, I think we cover quite intense stuff, and I think not every episode have to have a nice closing ending to things. I think loneliness is something that everyone experiences at least once in their life, unless they are really like born into some love family. I mean, everyone has their own struggles and challenges. Like even if you're born into a family that love you cow, right, you might still feel lonely in the I don't have a non-family people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, but I think it's good to experience that at some point because it gives you that gratitude for the people that you do have, unless you totally tak deal kan. But yeah, it is by comparison because everything's relative, right? So it is a good experience to have lah.
Yeah.
Not for your whole
And
life.
I think it's important to talk to people about it. So like for me, I do tell some friends and I say, hey, if some random time I call you and if I call you a few times that means chances are that week I really needed to talk to someone.
Oh.
But if I call you like say driving Monday, then you say busy, Tuesday you say busy. Then I was like, hey. By the fourth day, you better take a pause and say, hey, you got something to say or you just calling to say hi.
Hey.
Like, please check in with me. I think that helps a lot. Because everyone would feel lonely at one point in their life.
Yeah.
And it's important to be picked up or recognize that you want to be picked up from that depression pit. Yeah.
Jom Sembang Malaysia is hosted by two Malaysians who are passionate about Malaysian stuff. Stay tuned every week for a brand new Sembang session with Juwita Suwito and Gina Yoong. Today's episode is recorded at Studio 2105. Remember to click like and subscribe for a brand new episode next week.